Steve? Give that to Steve. Call a meeting of the Newberry Township Supervisors to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I first need to announce that there was an executive session held on March the 15th to discuss personnel issues related to our sewer administrator resignation and also on disciplinary action. Also tonight we had an executive session and also had to deal with personnel matters. To kind of move things along a little quicker here. I'd like to switch around a little bit. I'd like to make a motion that we switch things around just real quick. I'd like to go under new business before public comment and work on the promotion, looking for a motion for the promotion of Officer Nauman to Sergeant.
I'll make a motion.
Looking
I'll
for a
second
second? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Steve? We're doing this just to help with some of the crowding. If you can't get it hooked right, just stab, it'll stack. Yeah, push till you see blood. Somebody.
Congratulations.
Okay, moving on, we're going to move on to public comment. We'll let them get out. Okay.
Hi. Who's next?
Okay, moving on to public comment. We have a representative here, I believe, from the West Shore Recreation Commission. We have a pretty long agenda, so I'm going to
Yeah,
ask
I
you
was
to
like,
keep it sweet,
wow, they all
short,
came to
sweet.
hear what I had to say.
Okay.
I'm really impressed. I'm just deflated now, coming
book you
after
more,
that. My name's Todd Miller. I'm from West Shore Recreation Commission. I'm joined here by my colleague, Eric Stauffer. He's our recreation manager, and our board president, John Benito. I've been with West Shore Rec for 22 years. Eric, about the same, 23. John, probably a little longer than that. So, again, we brief. Just want to give a quick history for any of you that might not know about West Shore Rec. Newberry Township obviously used to be a member participating municipality with the board. When it was created, the Recreation Board was created in 1968. It's now the West Shore Recreation Commission to provide year-round recreation activities. So today, Goldsboro, Lemoyne, Lewisberry, New Cumberland Borough, along with Fairview and Lower Island Township are the participating municipalities that perform or are part of the commission. So we're governed by a representative from each municipality, and we operate on an annual budget. We have 4 office staff members and over 100 instructors throughout the year. Majority of our programs are held in the school buildings, West Shore School District buildings. Then we also use churches, community rooms, any rooms that the municipalities have to provide. And then we've been doing that for 54 years now, and we provide anything from physical fitness, help people learn new skills. We do youth sports activities. We have a lot of activities down at the West Shore Natatorium. So as you might be aware of, 8 years ago, Newberry Township decided to withdraw from the commission, and that started January 1 of 2014. And at the time, the Newberry residents who participated in our programs obviously were quite surprised when they found out about it. And what that means is they were now considered non-residents, and they were pretty upset and were complaining about the fact that they had to pay 30% more. The commission charges 30% more to non-residents. And the one that probably hurts the most is they have to wait. They have a 1-week waiting period to register for activities. And the one that hurts is usually aquatic activities because they're our highest demand. And a lot of times they have a hard time getting in those activities. So a little upset about that. So we've gotten complaints from Newberry Township residents since 2019. And obviously the thing we told them is they need to come to the supervisors and express their concerns about that to get that changed. But fortunately, in 2014, the other 6 municipalities stepped in, filled the budget void for Newberry Township dropping out. They continue to see the value that the commission offers to residents for the fraction of the expense it would cost them to do it individually as a township. Obviously, we probably all agree that the major determining factor for you would be cost. Currently, the per capita rate each municipality pays is $3. This could possibly be adjusted down if the 2020 census numbers show a large increase in population and/or if Newberry Township would decide to rejoin the commission. The commission runs a fiscally conservative budget. We don't own any facilities, and we carry zero debt obligations. So on behalf of our supporting municipalities of Goldsboro, Lemoyne, Lewisberry, and New Cumberland boroughs, along with Fairview and Lower Island Township, plus the customers from Newberry Township, we're just respectfully inviting you to join back into the commission. Thank you.
Are you able to tell us how many of our residents are currently active?
Currently, I'd have to look it up. Our system does, we do track based on municipality.
Do you have numbers in the past of how many people were joined that whole deal?
We could get that to you, sure.
And can you give us a rough idea on a cost estimate?
Yeah, so it'd be currently, like I said, it's $3 per capita rate, so it'd be your population times that $3. So back in 2014, it was roughly 30-some thousand dollars.
So
Obviously,
very close to 45, 50,000 now.
Yeah, yeah, and the commission has not used the 2020 census numbers yet. They haven't been official enough for us to.
I mean, we were at 15-something the last time.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I would assume it's higher now. And that's why I said, like, our per capita rate may be adjusted based on how much the population is assumingly increased across all of our municipalities that participate.
What did you say your fiscal was?
Yes. Yeah, like, our fiscal is, starts January 1.
So when would this be, when would we become a member, I guess?
Like, if you wanted to become a member. And we start doing our budget in July, so it would probably be, if you wanted to join back for 2023, you could potentially decide that. We do our budget in July, so we would have to add that into our figures to consider that.
So you would like to definitely answer by July?
Sure. I mean, sooner would be great, but.
For 2023.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, 22.
I just want to ask our manager, have we gotten any complaints from people that were not members of the West Shore Rec? Have you?
I have, Madam Supervisor, not a lot. I've had one lately and over the years, maybe one or two. Even on my block where I live, they come up and complain.
You probably get them January, usually. That's when we mail out the brochure to the entire West Shore School District, and that's when we get the most of ours. New people moving in don't know about, West Shore Rec in all of the municipalities, not just Newberry Township.
What are your total numbers per year of people?
Total participants?
Yes.
I would have to get that to you. I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Is this something we can put on our website to get input from the public on? Like, maybe somehow boldly put on there so we can get some valued input?
Yeah, we could try that, and we'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Quick question, because Newberry Township, two different school districts, joined the Northeastern School District, right?
It's considered the same. It's based on township or borough.
Because you said about you can't send out to West Shore residents, West Shore School District residents, but you don't send anything out to North.
No, it's not based on, we don't send it out based on school district. It's based on,
But we're Newberry Township residents. so
Right.
We don't have that same opportunity to join.
no, you do.
our own?
You do, yeah, you would.
As a
you would be-
township resident, Mike,
Yeah.
regardless of what school district you're in,
Right.
you are eligible for this if we go back to it.
This is the first I've ever heard about this in our school district, that's why I'm saying about it. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We aren't notified about that.
Yeah, you get it.
We don't know about that.
You would, I mean, we send out, the winter spring brochure, we send out to everybody within, we still send it to Newberry Township just because they are so close, even though they're not participating members. But it's based on coastal carrier routes within the township, so.
It is given to, we did double back every year. So they're notified, every door direct, what, yes,
Yeah, but only Newberry Township residents. Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. Right, yeah. If they're on a coastal route, it comes to Newberry Township.
Yeah, just like we have Dover Township back by the racetrack, that's Dover, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Next, we have representative from the Capital Region Council of Governments.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. I was a municipal manager for 34 years. My name is Gary Myers. I'm the executive director of the Capital Region Council of Governments. And I just tonight, one of my favorite nights were always the nights when the elected body would recognize police officers or promote police officers. So it was really great to be here this evening. So it was a great thing what you did. Capital Region Council of Governments has been around since 1970. It's been around 52 years. Started out as the West Shore Council of Governments with 6 members. Those 6 members are still members. It expanded to the Capital Region Council of Governments from the West Shore Council of Governments about 15 years ago. We have grown to an organization of 42 municipalities in York, Dauphin, Cumberland, Perry, and we have 1 Lebanon County member at the current time. And I put a brochure up there. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. You have a very busy agenda. And it just tells you all the things that we do as a council of governments. I am available to speak to your manager or each of you individually. I put a card up there. My cell phone's there. Feel free to call me, text me, email me anytime. I'm available. I just want to touch on a few things that we do as a Capital Region Council of Governments. Recently, we acquired a FEMA grant in the amount of $2.3 million. And this grant is solely for the purpose of recruitment and retention of volunteer firefighters. We're losing our volunteer firefighters in this country by the tens of thousands each year. And this is hopefully not a final effort, but a continuing effort to keep those women and men out there answering the bell at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when we're asleep. So it's based solely on recruitment and retention for the 21 participating fire companies. So we're very proud of that. We do a joint bidding program. I see you have your paving projects on the agenda this evening. We just completed our joint bidding program for the 2022 year, where we bid 12 different commodities for 34 different municipalities. Everything you do in COG is voluntary. You participate in those things you would like. If you choose not to participate in something, that's fine also. Our salt bid project is something we do every fall. We bid salt for, this year we did it for 52 entities, all 42 municipalities, and we did it for 10 school districts also. And that way you don't have to bid salt. And it's a huge savings. Pennsylvania still requires you to advertise everything. We do one advertisement for 42 municipalities instead of 42 municipalities doing 42 advertisements at a cost of around $500 to $1,000 a piece. We do one advertisement. We do training. We just conducted 3 flagger trainings with Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors. We do a lot of things, and they're all listed on the agenda. They're all listed on your brochure there, and we would love to have you as a member. As I said, I've been involved. I can honestly say I've been involved in local government for 64 years. I'm 70 years old, and the first time I was involved in local government was helping my dad run a campaign for borough council in Columbia Borough in Lancaster County. So if you have any questions, I'm here. Ask any question you would like. If you have any questions tomorrow, the next day, please feel free to call me. What I will do is I do have a application for membership here. Also, you can, if you decide to join, if the board decides to join, you can join via ordinance or resolution. Most municipalities join via resolution. Again, it's a money savings. You don't have to advertise an ordinance. So, Mr. President, should I give that to you?
Yep. Thanks, Gary.
Are there any questions at this time?
Any of you have any questions? Tony? Any of you guys down there?
Yeah, please give me a call.
Just so the people in the audience, I asked Gary to come do this presentation. I am as old as dirt, I'll admit that, and I can remember the first 6 boroughs and townships that were involved in the first West Shore Council of Governments, and it has worked tremendously for everybody that I know of that's involved with this organization, and I highly hope and highly recommend that the board look into this, because the dues that we would pay them, we'll get back easily with all the joint bidding when we're bidding stuff for 41 people instead of us. So I'm sure you'll be hearing us.
Okay, and I am available for questions and to meet with you again.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There you go. Thanks, Gary. Thank you. Next on the agenda, Demish Miller is here to speak about some signs. Dominish, okay. I'll get it figured out one of these days. How's that?
Hi, everybody. I'm Dominish Miller, and if you don't know who I am already, I founded the Preserving the History of Newburytown group, and the goal is to just form a little historical society for Newburytown. And tonight I brought one of my colleagues, Frank Grumpine, with me. He works as a preservation specialist in Harrisburg. And I wanted to talk to you about getting the keystone markers for Newburytown replaced within the township. I was looking on the Keystone Markers Trust website, which is a trust set up in Pennsylvania specifically for the Keystone Markers. So if you're not aware what the Keystone Markers are, Lewisberry has them, York Haven, Cly, Goldsboro, all of the towns around us have them. And it's a blue sign shaped like a keystone, and the lettering is yellow. And it tells you about the founding of the town. So Newbury Township says founded by the Friends that first settled there and met there in Newbury Township with the founding date. So I believe that originally these were placed at the Ys in Newburytown. So the first Y was the Y that was at the one-room schoolhouse, the other Y down at Rocket Pizza. Sometime in the 70s or 80s, they were taken down, and they're now in township storage. So I know that we have them. So you're not going to incur any costs for having to get a sign recast or repaired. Honestly, I think you just have to dust them off. I've seen pictures of them. They look like they're in good shape. The only thing that you'll have to do is get a PennDOT regulation pole to put the sign on. I've contacted the Keystone Marker Trust already to talk to them about the specifications and the pricing, and I'm waiting to hear back. But one thing I do want to say is I don't want this to be an issue of taxpayer dollars. I'm willing to front the costs for this project. I sell the Newburytown cookbooks. I have 2 volumes out. I also sell some T-shirts, Newburytown things, and what money I make off of that, I've already promised would go back into preserving the history of Newburytown. So that's something that I would be fine with helping out with that or covering the cost completely. The Keystone Markers Trust also offers grants for townships or towns that want to put the markers back up or get them remade or maintained. So they work with local historical societies and different government grants to get those markers paid for. And I just thought this would be a good way to show some township pride. Like I said, all of the towns around us have their keystone markers in place, and we're really the only place that doesn't. And we have them, and they're just sitting in storage, so I figured why not utilize those. And it would be a good opportunity for the township board, call the local media, have the newspaper there, like ABC 27, WJL 8, unveil the new markers. And it's just a good way to highlight that you're working for the community. So that's what I wanted to say. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And then Frank said that he could also field some questions about the markers.
Where would you want to put the markers at?
I would like to have them at the Ys in Newburytown, where they were by the one-room schoolhouse, which is now a hair salon, or by Rocket Pizza again, just because they're not Newbury Township markers, they're Newburytown markers.
Correct.
So having them in the town proper, I think would be the logical place to have them.
I would agree with that, yes.
Yes.
There's only 2?
Yes.
Will the Pennsylvania, I can't think, the historic people that you were talking about.
The Keystone Markers Trust.
Keystone Markers Trust.
Yes.
I don't know if their mission has changed, but when I worked at PennDOT, they used to take them and rehab them and then install them.
Yes, so they will work with the township to do that. Like I said, I've already contacted them about it. They have a database that you can access, and we're currently not on the database because our markers are not visible, they're not placed somewhere. But by contacting them and getting yourself on the database, you're automatically enrolled in their program. To get them rehabbed up to their standards, or PennDOT, like I said, they work with PennDOT. You'd have to have a PennDOT regulated pole, but the markers themselves should be okay. But they'll let you know, they have it down to the specific paint colors that you need to use and, you know, how to clean them and everything like that. It's all on their website. No, we have to, I spoke to them, like I said, I wanted to get the pricing and all of that information, but once the signs are placed, if we do decide to replace them, they'll automatically go on the database. It depends if they're up to the PennDOT standards. Again, I don't have the specific regulations yet. I'm still waiting to hear back.
You will be able to get those I didn't mean to cut into
No.
it, but if you contact the safety unit at PennDOT District 8, the guy that used to do that retired,
Okay.
but they do have somebody there that can guide you along the way
Oh, perfect.
but yeah, you want to contact PennDOT Safety Unit.
Okay.
They're on Her Street in Harrisburg.
Right. But yeah, I'm guessing that we would have to probably get a new pole to put them on.
I'd like to add too, I think what she does is pretty cool. Would like to have a meeting like here once every couple months and with people?
Yeah, that would be nice. I was having regular meetings, but they were just jumping around between local churches. I didn't have a specific place to have them. But I would like to do that because I've been having speakers come and local authors, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Thank you.
I think you do a good job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that wonderful website.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
And we
absolutely.
also, in our safe, maybe you can make an appointment with the manager, we have some history in our safe.
Oh, wonderful.
Some old papers and stuff, if you want to look at them.
Yeah.
I just have a random question.
Mark, you want to talk? Or?
Yeah, hold on, Rob.
Where's your passion come from for this?
I've always been into history. My grandfather lived in the house, the big white house right across from Newbury Township School, the Newbury Elementary School.
What's your grandfather's name?
Claire Gross. He passed away in 2009.
Oh, I knew Claire real well.
Yeah, he always sat on the swing and waved at all the school buses. Everyone knew him. But that was his parents' house before him, and they kept all of the family history. I have a degree in library science, archiving, and local history. I'm a Civil War reenactor, so I feel like it's my job and it's my hobby. So I've been born and raised in Newbury Township. I live in my parents' home, and it was my grandmother's home before that. So I want to keep the township nice. I want to keep it, foster it for generations to come.
Yeah, I agree.
So.
My grandparents owned a general store top of the hill there.
There you
where
go.
Fisher's is.
Yeah.
Back in the 30s, and I think my grandfather sold it somewhere to Mr. Skeets.
Okay, yeah,
He took
Skeets'
it
store.
over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a favorite of everyone.
Okay, Mark, you had questions?
Does the township have a Keystone, township?
No, there's no townships, so they're for towns.
Yeah, none of those were ever designed for townships.
Well, I think we do. When you come from Fairview, it says "Welcome to Newbury Township," doesn't it?
That's not a Keystone sign,
Oh,
though.
okay.
No, that's
That's
just
just a
a
sign.
township sign. Yeah. So there's different. There's historical markers. There's Keystone signs, and then there's just township signs. So these are like large casted signs that were made from a mold.
I'd like to make a motion that we have Demish work with the township manager and get them put in.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I didn't get to say aye, but I would also like. I would also be willing to pay for that, so you don't have to.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so generous. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next on the list is Deb.
Hi, I'm Deb Pop. I'm the former tax collector, and I just, you guys are pretty sure what I'm here for. I like this on record. I don't know how many know, but for the last year of 2021, there was not very good rapport between me and the township board manager. And they tried to get me out of the building. They tried to get me out of my office. They told me to get all my records out of the building. So when I was gone, my term ended, I took everything with me. At that time, I did speak to an oncoming supervisor to come in, look at my office, to make sure they couldn't accuse me of anything, no damage or anything. I also said that I took the records. The reason I took them was because I did not trust anyone here, and that they would allow me back in for my audits to see those records, or that they'd even exist if I came back in. So I did that. I had contacted the state. I had an attorney, and I have the right to have those records until the audits are done. And I had requested audits being done for every area that I collected for, so there'd be no question of anything when I'm gone. So I had received an email from the manager, Tony Miller, telling me they wanted their records back within 5 days. I responded to that, explaining why I had those records, reminding him that he's the one that sent me the letter to tell me to get them out of the building, and that they would get them back when my audits are done. Right after that was sent out, I got an email, I got a letter by regular mail, and I got one by certified mail from the attorney, going over the record retention, or the tax collection law, and all about having the records. The stuff that is on this, as far as the request that the township wanted back, they have everything except the tax bills. The tax bills are receipted, they're proof who paid and when they paid. Everything else they ask for, they already have. And it went on saying that they hope this isn't something unlawful that I'm doing and purposely keeping it from them. And if it is, then they were going to file against me for a misdemeanor in the second degree with up to 1 to 2 years in prison and fines up to $5,000. Seriously? Not one person spoke to me. This is what I get. So I sent an email out to the 2 new supervisors asking them if they saw my email of my response. And Rob, he had reached out to me. We had a discussion, and then they agreed to back off until my audits were done. Okay, I am here tonight to tell you I have 2019, 2020, and 2021 records in my truck. You could go out and get them. The audits are done. I have the township audit here saying there are no findings or anything. The audit is fine. So, sorry, I'm a little testy, but this is ridiculous. After 27 years of collecting, never having anything wrong with an audit, and then you threaten me with a misdemeanor in the second degree, I have a problem with that. So right now, I like it known that my liability ends right here for those records that I'm turning over. And I like the board to acknowledge that. And I would like to know who authorized Tony to send that to begin with. Who authorized the email? Who authorized him engaging an attorney for this?
I'm not going to claim innocence in that. I probably wasn't totally clear on on the entire contents of it. That's why, when I became fully aware of it, that's why I reached out to you to try to hold off the dog. So I'm not going to sit here and say I was totally innocent in that. I'll plead ignorance, I guess.
Okay,
I do
and-
appreciate your service, and hopefully from here,
I'm
this
done.
can all.
I have 3 bills to collect, because
Okay.
another thing I don't think you understand. A tax collector remains in office or is responsible for duties after the term ends, until the duplicate is settled. I still have 2021 tax bills out there that I am liable to collect. Anything I have has nothing to do with anything connected to the township or to the new collector. I am not preventing her from doing anything that she's required to do. She was elected for 2022, and nothing for 21 she's not responsible for any of that. So,
I spoke with the tax office yesterday, and they did confirm what you just said. So I just want this all to be better, so everyone, there's no animosity.
I want it done.
Deb, talking to the tax office, it's so confusing.
Well, that's the problem. You don't understand. You go by what he says. Yes, you, Mr. Miller.
It's not.
And
I understand
I-
your animosity with him, but it's not all. It's not all him. I'm not defending him. You have your own opinion of him.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just saying
do.
it's not all him.
so,
Scott,
am I, like I said,
we're gonna send somebody out right now to get the stuff out of your truck,
okay,
okay? Scott's gonna go with her
all right.
real quick so he can come back and do his report.
Chief, can you detain her till they get back with these records?
What's that? Yeah, really. Yeah.
Get the cuffs.
Yeah.
All right, but am I relieved of the liability on these then?
I don't know if we can say that, Rod.
We have
It's
an
going to
audit
be
that
in
says
your
it's done.
hands. The audits are
Okay,
done.
we're gonna
Yeah.
admit,
We're done with
we're taking her records, so we have them.
Yep, once
Yeah.
we have
And
the
the-
records, we're good, okay?
audit's
2019 to 2021, correct, Deb?
19, 20, 21.
Okay, moving on. Mike Howe.
I'm Mike Hauk. I live at 355 River Road. I've been coming here ever since 2017, when there were some issues with things going on. My issue tonight is the citations on my property. I want to know why you attack a whistleblower, but don't make other people abide by the same rules and regulations in the township. I've got everything in accordance, but I was denied my driveway when Mr. Brandt came out and inspected the other day, and I want to know why. Because I cut up a 3-foot section of my driveway. Here's photographs. We all know in this day and age that stormwater is a major issue in the township and in the state and in the country, correct? We all acknowledge that stormwater is a problem? Yes or no?
Sure.
I'll acknowledge it, but I don't agree with all the rules and regulations.
Okay, I don't either, but the thing is, I was requested several years ago by Jeff Martz, because stormwater from my property was eroding an area on the neighbor's property, that he decided to cut away and put a bank there without any proper things to keep it. So I basically took a large section of my driveway up, beside my driveway, took grass and everything out, and put a trench drainage system in for stormwater management. Is something like that acceptable, Mr. Rudy? For a trench drainage system to try to collect and prevent water from running off your property? But it's something that's, I mean, it wasn't mandatory for me to do something like this. I did it on my own design with the help of an engineer, did all this, and then to do it properly, I used a 3/4 inch media stone, and that's a permeable.
Do you have the engineer's report, Mike?
Pardon?
Did you have the engineer's report on that?
I still,
Did you have the engineer's report? You said you worked with the engineer.
no, I didn't, because basically, I wasn't required to do any of this, but I did this as a good faith measure. Yeah, I had a friend that helped me with all this, it's an engineer. But 3/4 inch stones are permeable base, not an impervious base. So I put a 2 foot wide, 2 foot deep, and then I mounted it. So that's not my driveway. I'm using basically a 3/4 inch stone as a landscape media between my property and neighboring property. It's not a driveway. And I don't see any requirements anywhere in any of the building codes that I'm not allowed to use this as my media base. But I was denied that, and I was told I either have to put grass over it or mulch, and I don't understand why. Because this is a great thing, it stops any and all stormwater. I have it mounted up that you can't drive on it, so it's not a driveway. So what's the deal? I'm just asking for,
Marcus? I need you to come over to the microphone. You don't have a microphone over there.
Maybe we better separate you two.
No, that's fine.
I mean, according to the definition of impervious surfaces, granite and crushed stone is considered a non-pervious.
No, see, that's not
It's
correct,
right in
sir.
there.
Just a minute.
Mike,
Please lay it down, and I want to read it.
What
and
section
do
are you
it
looking
right.
at, so I can follow along?
Okay, sidewalks, concrete features, and areas that are designed to initially be gravel or crushed stone. You're not allowed to put them over a period that's supposed to be crushed stone or gravel. You gotta read the
Could
definition
you hold on
properly.
just a minute? Marcus, I have a book here. What section are you looking at?
I'm looking at, what is it,
Page.
114,
Page number.
okay, page 28.
I do know that in other townships, stone driveways are still counted in their MS4s as
But
non-pervious.
this isn't driveway, this is my landscaping I did beside my driveway. I have it mounted up that you can't drive on it. I have it mounted, you can't drive on it. It's basically my landscaping. Like a lot of other property, I landscape with stone to keep the water and retention from going in. Be a good conservationist of trying to maintain a groundwater management, and here I'm being denied. I just spent over $1,000 taking up 3 feet of blacktop, digging it out, going down, and putting a pervious surface in, which is, you use 3/4 inch stone in all your septic systems and everything like that, because it's a pervious medium. And I don't understand why this isn't the same
Well, I
thing
kind of
as
see
a.
what you're saying, Mike, because my landscape in front of my house,
Pardon?
my landscape in front of my house, I didn't use mulch. I used river rock.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about the same.
So I use 3/4 inch stone. If you look around the back of my property, a lot of it's 3/4 inch stone with landscape fabric down. It all channels into around the back of my house to keep from water erosion and everything like that. It also maintains a more valuable resource of retaining that water into the natural groundwater system.
As long
But
as the-
now,
as long
because
as
of
the
this, I was-
surface underneath it is not compacted and.
No, it's not compacted. I dug it up anywhere from 12 inches to 2 feet deep down in. You can see the pictures there where I had the track hoe come in and tear everything up and loosen it up. And then when I did it, I mounted it up that it's to keep any water from running off of my property going into this. And this is a voluntary thing that I'm not required to do. So I did this on a voluntary basis to try to maintain neighboring properties and take care of stormwater on my property. The blacktop is tore up. You can see where I tore the blacktop up 3.5 feet back. So my driveway is no longer there, and then my stone is mounted up almost 8 to 12 inches high that you can't drive on it. So this is basically a landscape thing and not a driveway thing.
We'll have some further discussion on this, and
Pardon?
we will have some further discussion on this.
Okay, I only have till the end of April to make.
Did you get a citation or a warning? Unfortunately, my
I don't
eyes
know what
aren't
it
good
is.
anymore. I can't
Basically,
see that
it's
far away.
Just saying that I have till April
Marcus?
30th to
Is it a violation or,
a
okay.
warning. Okay,
We will have an answer back to you before your warning's up.
okay. Because I don't understand why this is not acceptable. Also, I want to know is why has, I keep on bringing it up, Say Right Auto is still not in compliance after 2 years
Mike?
with the zoning hearing. His driveway is not in compliance because he don't have a blacktop in front.
Mike, that went through the court system, and your lawyer and the judge agreed that everything was done. Bill?
My lawyer
Anything
agreed
else
that
on that?
everything,
That microphone not on again.
I mean, Marcus and I were out and had done an inspection and gave him a list of things that needed to be done, and as I understand, they're all complete now at this time.
his driveway's in compliance with the driveway code?
It's in compliance with the zoning hearing that, and the decision that was,
No, it's
the
not.
items that were in that zoning hearing.
The zoning
Yes, it is.
hearing was for the buildings intact. The gentleman has,
Mike, I don't know what to tell you. This is, they're never going to make you happy. I understand
no,
that.
no, I just,
But at this point, I personally feel that you should contact an attorney.
I will do that because he is not in compliance. He has not been in compliance. And if you take a look at the driveway code right there, his driveway needs to be blacktopped 15 feet from the entrance of the road because that protects the roads in this township from being tore up from traffic going out. My neighbor across the street, Rod Borda, made him blacktop his driveway. This is like 15 years ago. Blacktop his driveway 15 feet back because that's the rule and regulation. That don't matter. The only thing this hearing did, from what I understand, was to allow the man to have his buildings there. He was supposed to do a stormwater management plan. Did you do a stormwater management plan for the whole site?
Yes.
Okay. What about the screening and buffering between my house and his buildings? There should be a 50-foot buffer zone in there from what I understand with the screening as part of the screening. No, yes or no?
He's in compliance with the zoning hearing.
So,
Okay.
next, I got one more other thing I got to bring up.
Okay, well, we need to get moving on.
All right,
We got a lot to do.
we're going to get moved. Stormwater management in the township. Anything over 5,000 square feet needs a stormwater management plan, correct?
Okay, yeah,
Parking lot across the street.
parking lot
The,
across.
the car lot across the
Mike,
street.
they have an ENS plan, both of them do. They showed them to us. 2020, they got them.
Okay. Because there's no kind of, any kind of storm management.
Tiffany was out there several times, I think on 2 complaints from somebody, and they found nothing wrong.
He filed a plan with the township for the township
It's not
plans?
a township issue, it's a York County issue.
It's more than a county issue. The- Ordinance number 388, Newbury Township.
He completed a stormwater management report and installed a stormwater management basin down there.
Mr. Reed did, but what about the car lot across the street from the township building here? What about the 5,000 square feet of dirt that's being maintained and piled in over across from the school district? Did they file a plan with the township for stormwater management? And right now, 382 Auto Sales is dumping massive amounts of dirt behind their place. Do they have a plan filed for over 5,000 square feet?
Mr. Howe,
Yes.
I'm over here. It's over here, Mike.
Over here.
Manager
Look what the
Miller.
manager wants.
Mike?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I have here the permit that the Davenport's got on the one that you're talking about across from the school right
Yes.
here. And it's October 23rd, 2020. They had a York Conservation District, York County Conservation District, and they got a permit for what they're doing.
Okay, but did they get one through the township? Because they're supposed to register one with the township. Under ordinance number 388?
Mike, I got ENS plans done in the past, I never did nothing through the township either.
Pardon?
I did through, I
I
did
was
it
always
through,
told every time I've done anything in this township, if I have a
Tiffany Crum
York
did it.
County plan, it's good.
This is 2015 was enacted. And we're really lax. We're really lax in this township. East Manchester Township is 1,000 square feet or more, needs
Well,
Fairview Township, and I think we ought to start taking a look into this because stormwater is a major problem in this state. I was addressed with it back in '72 when the flood of Agnes hit, and that's when I was working for a fellow that was a supervisor for Cullowalla Township. He says it's gonna keep getting worse because we're not taking care of the
Mike, I'm not
problems.
sure what you're referring to with the 1,000 square feet, but we do enforce anything over 1,000 square feet in impervious surface. You need to get a stormwater management permit in the township.
Okay.
and People do.
Okay.
Marcus is aware of that, and he sends them my way when they need to get those permits.
And as far as right to knows, Rob, I put a bunch of right to knows in. I've been denied them. Maybe we ought to sit down and take a look at them sometime.
Are you still looking for this as-built?
Pardon?
Are you still looking for the as-built drawing? Is that one of them? The
Yes.
as-built drawing?
Yes, sir.
I brought that for you last month. That's the as-built drawing. That's public knowledge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to keep that, or that, I have an extra copy if you want?
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, Mr. Adams.
Tom Adams at 1610 Valley Road.
Yes, sir.
I just had a question about Penn Waste. Have they been combining the recyclables with trash? It's been about 6 months. I haven't seen their recycling truck come past our place. The recycling and the trash seems to be taken at the same time. Has anybody noticed any of this? Is it anybody saying?
I'll say that I know there's two of them come down my street because it seems like that's the only time I come out
I
my
haven't seen the
driveway.
recycling truck for months.
They don't have
Can you
doors.
give me your address, sir? I mean, I can
I
call
don't
them.
know.
I'm not aware of
Yeah,
anybody
every
else.
time I call them, all you get is their answering service, and you're on hold for
I
a
have,
month.
I'm just asking you to give it to me.
Very good.
Because I will contact them.
Very good.
I can contact the operations manager and, what's your address?
1610 Valley Road.
Yeah, I never took notice to it because we have a dumpster for our property, so I never took notice
So
to
they
it.
take your recyclables, but
It's
you're
always emptied,
concerned that
but
not being separate.
I have seen them close together, but
Sometimes.
I have not seen the specific recycling truck that picks it up automatically. It looks like the can is thrown on the ground like a man is doing it rather than a machine doing it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll look into that.
I know they had a fire down there.
Yeah, I'm not, that shouldn't have anything to do with what's being picked up. I agree. Mr. Crone.
Hi, I'm Mike Crown, 170 Bobby Jones. I'm just curious, who is in charge of running and updating the website currently?
Typically, it's our administrative assistant, and I have some powers to do that.
Because currently, second question, when the website was finished, did anybody proofread it and verify the information that was posted?
I'd have to say that we read it several times.
Because right now when they contact us, Brett Zeider's email address links to Laura, and when we go to the Board of Supervisors page, David, your email links to B. Cook. And when I look at it, it's two different fonts. I have years of programming knowledge, and when you look at the page source, it was made in two different fonts. So I find it very hard to understand why we're linking email addresses for the chairman of the board to somebody that isn't even on the board anymore.
I'd like to address that. I mean, I had a different person call me and say that when she clicked on the link, it didn't take her to the link. And when I go in and I click on those links, it goes to their email. So
It does not, and I can
look,
pull up the page.
look.
Sir, I can pull up the
Just a
page
second.
source.
Just a second, Mr. Crone.
You're not going to gaslight me on
Stop
this
calling
one.
me a liar, okay?
I didn't call you a
I'm telling
liar.
you the truth.
I
I
can pull-
went in and checked
Whoa,
it out.
both of you, calm down. If you're not going to act respectable in this meeting, you ain't going to be here. Now, we will look into that because
Thank
I'm
you.
not aware of it. Okay?
Thank you. That was my question, was are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of it.
Okay,
We will look
thank
into
you.
it.
And the
Laura,
page source does not lie, sir. Technology doesn't change based on the system that
Mr.
you are
Crone.
using.
You're done. Thank you.
Am I done? I have another thing to say.
Can I clarify
Yes,
something with you?
please.
You had an issue with Tony sending you a right to know that you were upset that the address was the wrong address.
Yes.
That had nothing to do with Mr. Miller.
He is the open office records.
Well,
He's the officer of records. He
Can
signed
you
off on it that it was
clarify
correct.
what it was?
My issue, I tried to resolve the issue with him calmly
Okay,
three
okay.
times
Let's-
before it even came to you guys. And
Fine,
since
fine,
we
but it
since
was-
we want to
it
bring
was
that
an
up,
honest mistake.
Claire.
since we want to bring that up,
Let it go.
in the denials for those, Mr. Miller and your attorneys accused me and claimed that there was a criminal complaint filed with the police department. Yet I went to them, I filed right to know laws, and there was no criminal complaint filed with the police department.
All right, Mike,
So I do not appreciate things that are untrue being pushed in official documents.
Okay, what was your next,
That was it.
Mike, I just wanted to make
Okay,
sure that that
thanks.
was an honest mistake.
And if it was an honest mistake, why couldn't he just admit to the honest mistake when I tried to talk to him instead of yelling and screaming at me because I had a video camera telling me that I didn't have the right to do so when I did?
okay, thank you, Mike, have a
I
nice
wasn't
day,
here, so I have no idea what took place, so.
okay?
You don't have any responses? You're just going
I think just the history of you two, I don't think it's apparent that you guys can talk to each other that way.
Okay.
I
mean,
I just like it on record that there was no criminal complaint filed.
Okay,
And if the law firm wants to keep putting false information in official documents, things will be done.
okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, do we have anything else? All right, we have nothing under, oh, looking for a motion to approve the minutes from February the 22nd, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Looking for a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying, oh, I'm sorry, is there any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nothing for land development? Marcus, nothing land development?
No.
Okay. Okay, moving on to reports. Chief, you want to do the public safety report?
I'm going to go with the police report first.
Okay.
And then Chief Hatter actually has something to say about the fire department. All right. So for the month of February, our department handled 1,181 calls for service. Listing those by criteria, we had 1 burglary, 7 thefts, 1 motor vehicle theft, 9 drug offenses, 4 DUIs, 3 simple assaults, 5 sexual assaults, 3 domestic-related harassments, 5 other harassments, and 23 all other offenses. Additionally, responded to 1,120 calls for service, including 17 domestic-related incidents, 21 traffic accidents. They issued 84 traffic citations, 139 warnings, 4 non-traffic citations, and made 33 misdemeanor and/or felony criminal arrests. Additional on the police side, I wanted to make the township and the citizens aware that on, I believe it was February 28th or March 1st, it was right around that time, Officer Pizzella and K-9 Czar assisted the U.S. Marshals, ATF, York County Drug Task Force, and other agencies with the execution of 2 search warrants in New York City and Manchester Township in an attempt to arrest 2 subjects that were federally indicted. During the execution of the search warrants, K-9 Czar indicated on several vehicles, resulting in those vehicles being either search warrant being applied for those vehicles or consent. In all, over a half pound or a half kilo of cocaine, powder cocaine, was taken off the street with a value of $30,000. So it was a good hit for our police dog, good find. Additionally, wanted to make everybody aware, if you're not aware, it was on our website, that our police department is selling autism patches. They're one patch for $10 or 2 for $15. And some of the proceeds, it's just on our Newberry Township team organization, which is our nonprofit that is selling these, not the actual police department. It's the team organization, nonprofit. And some of the proceeds are going to the Greater Harrisburg Autism Awareness Society. So if you want to buy some, please come to our office during business hours. And the last thing I'd like to say is thank you to the lady back there from Preserving Newberry Township. She routinely looks at things that are on our website and our Facebook and reposts things. I'd like to say that. Thank you for that. As far as for the fire departments and the emergency management, the EMS, there's nothing that we have to add for the report, other than bingos and barbecue. Bingos are alternating back and forth between the police departments. And on
Police department.
fire departments. And Station 31, Newberry has a barbecue on April 16th at 11 a.m. Gary, would you like to come up and speak about what occurred?
Oh, yeah, them other guys are gone. Would you let them know to make sure that Laura's out tonight? She's ill. Make sure that Gary and Mark and Rudy let her know about their fundraising event so she can put them on the website.
Okay. There's
Yep.
also an ongoing fundraising event at Lydia Stone Brewing Company that York Haven is having.
Chief Hatter, Newbury Township Fire Department. I just wanted to add, I forgot to put it on my report to the chief, and I'm lacking a little information here other than names. There was an incident occurred where all the EMS local agencies were out of the area. So a next due would have been coming out of Cumberland County on the upper end. We had staffing at the station, so our members did a medical assist to respond. So I gave a chief's citation at our fire company meeting to those members because they provided first aid and basic life support that ultimately assisted in the saving an infant's life. So those individuals were Ryan Rampstead, Mark Cayazzo, Cody Stallmeyer, and Brandon Hatterer. But they went out and added on the call, did the medical assist, and the outcome was much greater. So just wanted to share that with you. I had already spoke to the director about it. I just forgot that in my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James, it's over to you.
You all have a copy of my report. Nothing further to add. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for James? Okay, moving on. Mr. Rudy?
I have one thing to add, to talk about my report. Under the sewer department section, every year we file an annual waste load management report with DEP. It's a Chapter 94 report. It's a projection to look at the hydraulic and organic loading of the plant and the collection system. And the report this year shows again that the next 5 years there'll be no hydraulic or organic overloads for this year. So, and I'll need you to sign that at the end, Dave, to
Okay.
be able to submit that. That's all I
Anything
have.
else?
Everything else is under new business.
Okay.
No, I have a question. Over at the new, what is it, Starbucks. There was an intersection, I know it has nothing to do with us, but there's an intersection there, a three-way, it has no stop signs at all to it. So I almost clobbered somebody the other day because he didn't have a stop sign, I didn't have a stop sign. Who do we contact to tell them to put a stop sign there somewhere?
The owner of the shopping center.
Well, can we do that? Because I think at one time there was nothing back there, so they didn't worry about it, but now they built Sherman's Williams and the coffee shop. Now there's a three-way intersection with no stop signs.
Okay.
If we can contact the mall owners or whoever that is to,
Yep, we can do that.
before somebody gets, an accident.
Highway Department, do you have anything, Scott? Marcus, do you have anything to add under zoning? Mr. Zider, nothing under the sewer. Tony, under the manager's report.
Nothing to add, sir.
Jane, under the treasurer's report. Under the supervisors, Claire? Nothing? Rob? Maxine? You don't have none? Diane? Okay.
Yes, Dave, you should discuss a little bit how we're dealing with the fire departments. That's going so well. I think we should talk about it. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
We
it's going really
did-
well.
Yeah, we did have one meeting. We had somewhere in the area of about 30 people at the first meeting. We're still looking for a few citizens, volunteers for that committee. It's a committee to look at the future of our fire services and hopefully come up with some meaningful and well-thought-out ways in order to use the tax money coming from the fire tax to help improve our fire services here in Newberry Township. And in saying that, that will also involve, since we have the Borough of Goldsboro Fire Company and we have a fire company from York Haven involved, the offshoot from this is the people in those areas, their fire services should hopefully also help to improve. The meeting went well. Our fire chiefs and our public safety directors, they meet every month here in the meeting room prior to this meeting and go over things. And they just had a joint training session. The joint training session, and I may mess the guy up, but he has a arson dog from, I believe it's Lower Paxton Township. Came in and did a demonstration. I'm not sure what the next meeting, what the next combined fire department trainings are, but things are going well with the 3 fire companies at this time.
Diane had a good idea too about the HOAs.
Since Sue is engaged in the HOA for her community, I have asked her to help me gather some information for other HOAs in our Newberry Township. We're looking for residents.
Denise, you're going to post that, right? Yeah, she's not paying any attention to it. You're going to post that, right? That we're looking for more.
We have an HOA in Ridgeview. I have contact with
Okay.
Is there HOA information
Thanks,
with,
Vicki.
with all approved subdivisions?
Some of them are outdated because they don't have to keep up with us.
Some of the ones I have reached out to are no longer
Yeah.
involved in the HOA, so it's been a, hit and miss.
So it's kind of a challenge at times. Okay. All right. Under old business, I don't think we have anything. Am I correct, Tony? Correct. Okay, under new business. First thing under new business, I'm looking for a motion on the recommendation of the police chief.
I'll recommend to support Chief's disciplinary action.
Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Use your microphone.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that? We, due to the fact that it's a personnel issue, or James going to answer that? Okay.
It's a personnel issue. You only need to know that it's a suspension and who the individual is. It's a personnel issue.
It was an internal thing, and it had nothing to do with a public individual. Okay?
Sir, if I may, I was more than happy for the board to meet myself to explain the issue is.
You want to come up to the microphone?
Officer Douglas Kleinfelder with Newberry Township Police. I'm the individual who's up for suspension. I feel that it's only right that the public does know. The reason for the recommendation for suspension is because I was about an hour late for a training event back in the beginning of February. It was no public mistrust, no public misconduct in my behalf. I was an hour late for a training.
Okay. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we already did the promotion. We'll we're going to discuss a little bit about snow plowing, our liability with mailboxes. Real quickly, if your mailbox, and this is for everybody, so everybody can publish what I'm about to say, if your mailbox is either in a PennDOT right-of-way or a Newberry Township right-of-way, if it gets knocked off because of snow, it is not the township's responsibility to replace it, nor PennDOT's. If it's hit by a truck, yes, we have to take care of it. But if the snow blows it over, the slush coming off of a plow makes your mailbox take a ride up to the neighbor's house, that is not on the township. So we just wanted to let that be known. Hopefully, we're not plowing anymore this year, but, we needed to let the people know that.
I would just like to add something to that.
Sure.
I mean, I plow a lot of snow, so it is not the plow driver's intention to drive by and try to knock the mailbox over. I mean, sometimes maybe we go a little too fast and snow gets thrown, but they're just out there trying to do a job. They're not out there trying to do any damage to anyone's mailboxes.
And I just want to say, our manager gets screamed at. So I want to give him credit. He went down to the property where the mailboxes were knocked down, and he did it on his own time.
On a Sunday.
But that is not a common occurrence that it's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, we're done doing that.
Yeah, my mailbox got hit many times, so I've made a better and bigger mailbox and put it back 2 more feet, so. Since I did that 15 years ago, I never had a problem. I live on Space Highway, so they go down through about 50 mile an hour, so you gotta kinda go with the flow.
Okay. Moving on, approval of the deputy tax collector.
I'll make a motion.
Looking for a second on that?
I'll second that motion. I'll second that motion.
Do we have a name on it?
Yes, Samantha Isel.
Okay. Any question on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next is Resolution 2022/14, the Red Mill Crossing Sewer Planning Module. Bill?
So this is for the apartments. This is to meet one of the conditions that still remains on the land development plan that they're working towards, and part of that is submitting this planning module to DEP, so they need this resolution approved for that.
Okay. All right. Looking for a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any more question on it? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next on the agenda is the Rex Roth farm lease for farming of the year 2022. This is on the property that the township owns on York Haven Road, across from Lexington Estates. Looking for a
Mr.
motion?
Chairman, I just wanted to mention to
Sure.
acknowledge that Rex Roth Farms does donate $800 to the Recreation Fund for the lease.
Okay. Looking for a motion to approve the lease?
I'll make a motion that we approve the lease.